Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't cool to have big feet when I was little. You know, there was not one thing that was cool about it. There was no like, and we didn't have the athletes that we have now that are making it cool and shoes that make sense. So yeah, it was embarrassing. So it was awesome to get to college, and then you just like, you know, it comes with age too. That you're just like not embarrassed about your feet anymore. You just don't care. You get to the point where it just doesn't matter. But as a kid though, when you can't find shoes like everybody else, that kind of sucks. A little, but I not bad. I wasn't like ginormous, you know, and so I think it was probably harder for people who were 6'2", 6'3". It's harder. You're just more self-conscious about yourself. Yeah, I was a guard, and I think I was listed taller than 5'11", but I'm, you know, 5'11" was probably the correct height. Yeah. But yeah, I think the early years and then maybe a little bit in high school, but then you just come to love it, you know? Like I love being tall now. And even in college, I loved being tall. Even by the time I was in college, they were making longs, like pants and shoes. It just started to become easier, and now it's easier. It's not perfect, but I think if you're size 13 and over from a shoe size, that's where it's like, I don't know where people are finding shoes, so. Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, there were no cute shoes that fit me. Athletic shoes I could wear boys, and it was actually cool. Like some of my basketball shoes were like the kangaroos, and they were boys sizes, and they fit me better. And that wasn't that bad, but it was all like the girls' shoes, like for concerts or, you know, or stuff like that. It was just really hard to find shoes. And then as I got older, we found out that Nordstrom Rack carried large shoe sizes. So like 10, 11, 12, and even 13 and up. And so we would always go there. But it was always, I'll never forget, my girlfriend and I would go stand at Nordstrom Rack, and we'd wait for the gate to go up, and we'd be looking around just standing next to these other, when they would have their like 4 times a year shoe sale for large shoe sizes. They literally had an event for large shoe sizes, and we'd be waiting for the gate to go up because you wanted to get in there first. And it was just all women who were like my height or taller. And I remember standing at that gate feeling like small. I'm like, I never really feel small, but compared to the women who were standing at that gate waiting for Nordstrom Rack to open, I felt like I was the shortest one. It was really funny. But so, I mean, it was harder when I was younger, and you know, it's gotten better because there's more out there now, and you just kind of figure out where to look. But it doesn't bother me anymore. I think it comes with age. You just stop caring and just want to be healthy. It's hard as a little kid, though. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I think once I got to college, I started to like, you know, and you're on a team that also has people that have taller people then, and you're around a lot of athletes, not just the basketball team. So it started to just not matter as much in college. I think there was a period of time right after college where you're done with sports, and then you kind of re-enter the world of like, you're just working and everything, and then it's like, oh yeah, there was maybe a little adjustment period there too, to kind of just get used to not being an athlete anymore. So, but I think once I got to college, it didn't really bother me anymore. I really think it was more when I was a younger kid and in high school. You know, you're just worried about everything. And then so when you have big feet, yeah, people would comment all the time, right? And so that was the thing. And now when they say it, and no one even really says it anymore. Like you just get to a point where people just stop commenting about your appearance, you know? Yeah. And then, you know what, it also started to be like where they were saying it from a place of a compliment and not like a bad thing. They were saying, oh, it must be so nice to be tall. And I think it finally clicked with me in college, probably the later years in college, of like, it is kind of awesome being tall. And I've kind of embraced it ever since and haven't looked back. I actually love being tall. But, you know, you do go through those growing pains where you're, right, exactly, but I'm pumped. Where you just self-esteem, you're just still trying to figure out who you are, and then you have these big floppy feet. It's not really that, you know. What's awesome about that is you have your own little community, and within that community, no one ever said anything. You know, you just wouldn't say anything. Like, oh, you have big feet? It's like, well, duh. You know, so yeah, it's kind of a good testament to when you're not really. I mean, it's, you know, it is still harder to find things, but you just find brands and stores that you like, and then you just, you know, stick with those. But it's less of an issue now, both for me and how I feel about myself, and just being able to find shoes, you know, when you get to this point in your life. And just, I think you're onto something. I think there are people with bigger, I think shoe sizes have increased just overall. So I think, you know, they're making bigger size shoes now. So that's, you know, not problem solved, but it's definitely better than how it used to be when I was little and there were no options. So just boys' shoes it was. But yeah, I think I've always just been one of the taller. I never was the tallest until I got probably my junior year. But yeah, it is something that, you know, you just, again, I think what helped me was athletics and being around people. You know, once I started playing in AAU and started playing against other kids, other girls that would be my size, it wasn't weird. So then you're just surrounding yourself with people who are more similar to you. And so I think that definitely helps from a confidence perspective, you know, you're just around people who are about the same height as you. And so it wasn't weird. But I think just those younger years of, like, you know, when you're in like 6th to 9th grade, it's hard because you're already just feeling awkward. Just surrounding myself. I just had a lot of great people around me that always just said, it's so awesome to be tall. Someday you'll realize that. And they were right, you know. But yeah, it is harder for girls. I think now we're at an era, you know, the WNBA is at its highest, and from you know, how much people know about it and how that trickles down to girls, and it's not, you know, like they see these women who are huge and they're beautiful, and they're people are celebrating them. So I think it's so much better now for girls growing up compared to when I grew up. There were not a lot of big tall people getting celebrated. I remember reading a book. It was a volleyball player, Gabriella Reese, and it was called Big Girl in the Middle. And someone had bought that book for me, and I read it, and I was like, I loved it. I was like, yeah, she's embracing how tall and strong she is. I can't remember what size shoe she is, but yeah, just there were some people, but now we're at the masses of like the height of the WNBA getting celebrated, and so I think it's better for girls now.
Yeah.
But because I had sports, and because that was my outlet and that was my natural, I just felt like I was gifted. And so because I had big hands, big feet, and I was taller, I was able to do what I could do. And so as a kid, your frontal cortex of your brain doesn't work like that. Here's what it is too. I think as I've gotten older, and this might be something even as you're talking to other people about this, and the spin on this story can be like not so serious, you know, like you get to a point where not everything is so serious. I'm alive, I'm healthy. You just get to a point where you laugh at it, and that they love you for who you are, and you just get to a point in your life where that it doesn't matter anymore, you know, and it's almost just funny.